Yeah, 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 yeah! We are here in Belize. We want to say to all of our pathfinders and master guide, yes, even the adventurers. Yeah, yeah, yeah! We are heading to Jamaica. 2 more months and a half. Come on, as we register. We want you to be there. Pathfinders in mission. Yeah, 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 yeah. In Jamaica. Adventurers, pathfinders, master guides. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get ready, because on the 4th to the 8th of April 2023, we will be there in Jamaica. Get ready, get ready. 2 more months and a half. We gotta be there, Pathfinders.
Pleasant good morning to everyone. We want to thank you so much for joining us again for another episode, live episode that is of Defining Your Health. Yes, we're live today from our studios here in Ladyville. I am your host, Chantel Neal, and whichever platform you're joining us from, be it Facebook, YouTube, or Channel 98, we thank you so much for joining us. And being in the line of thanks, we also want to thank Ms. Jemema Arnold, looking gorgeous as always, joining us on set this morning. And we have a very, very interesting topic that we want to pause at this moment to discuss along with you. That topic is practical self-care tips for women. Ms. Jemema, we are on the brink of Women's Month, and I think it's high time for us to talk a little bit about how we could help our women a little bit.
Absolutely. I find the topic very interesting, very juicy for me, so this should be a good one.
Yes, and as we're on the point of getting in, before we get into our program, that is, we just want to share, I'm sure for those of you who may not know, we want to post a flyer at this time of Miss Charlotte Jacobs. Yes. You know, our hearts are heavy as we're here. She is missing at this time, and we want to let you know that if you've seen her or have heard anything, please reach out to the proper authorities. Yes. 922 or a nearest police officer. Call somebody. Say something if you see her on the bus stop, somewhere out there. Please let us know. Her family, we are worried about her whereabouts, and we'd love to see her returning home safely to her family. So again, Miss Charlotte, we want to lift up special prayers for her family, for her safe return.
Right. If you see something, say something, and if you know something, say something as well. It can definitely help. All right.
Definitely. And Miss Charlotte was here about 3 weeks, I believe. 2 weeks with us here on the program, our Sabbath morning virtual worship service, and you know, she was up in spirit. So I mean, it's Miss Jemema, I mean, these are the realities of life.
Exactly.
You know, one spell you're up, one spell you're down, and so it's very, very important for us to, as women, take care of ourselves.
Definitely.
Right, especially our mental health. I know sometimes we just run ragged and we just feel like we're the Wonder Woman, but there are consequences.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that she did not take care of herself, but there are many other things, you know, that could cause it. So I want to ask you a question though, because I want to see what your genuine response is. I did not cue you or anything. How are you feeling?
Wow, that's a good question. And I'm actually glad that you brought it up, because for a couple months, I didn't know that I wasn't doing well.
Okay.
And that my health was in questioning. and I was not feeling right. But we as women, we ignore everything like you say, and we always want to feel like Wonder Woman. But there came a time when my body just shut down and I couldn't. So I went to seek, I went to see the doctor, and I indeed wasn't doing well, and it was a shock to me. However, I followed up, and simple things like whenever the medication they kicked in and I was able to feel like myself again, I just stop and I think to myself, we take little things for granted, because the fact that I wasn't able to get out of bed, like I was just always weak and drained. But simple things like feeling okay, we take for granted. So now I wake up and I wake up earlier and I make much out of my day and I get things done, because we take it for granted. When we actually feel good and we have energy, we don't take care of ourselves. We feel like it's normal, but it is not.
Yeah.
So one of the things the first things that I pray for now is the fact that I am feeling okay.
Amen.
And I don't want to feel that way again, at least not for now or ever. But we do take these things for granted.
Yeah, and that's not the answer I expected. But I want to just thank you for being open about, sharing your situation.
Yeah.
Sharing is not the normal thing for a woman to do. When I would be asked, how am I doing? My answer is always, I'm good. I'm good. Because we don't want to feel vulnerable. We don't want to feel like we're a burden in sharing whatever is stressing you out to anybody else. We just want people to always feel that we're good. But the question is, are we really good?
Yes,
are you really good?
Feeling?
So the next time somebody asks you, how are you feeling? Saying I'm good is just you're giving them an illusion that all is well. Yeah. So we can simply say, I am not good, but I'm getting there. So people can know, hey, something, is there. Not to let anybody into your business or anything, but as women, we do pretend to be superwoman. Taking the burden of the home, looking after the children, and if you're a working mom, being at work, deal with your work stuff. But it's important for us, as we go back to our topic this morning, to take time to take care of ourselves. And we say this all the time. We need to take time for ourselves. But do we really take time for ourselves? What does taking time for yourself, what is it? What does it look like? What does it entail? So these are the questions we will be answering this evening, and we'll, share some points, some tips with you that can help you along the way of better self-care for women. Let's get into our first question. And again, we want to remind those who are viewing our program this morning that we are live from the studio. This is a live program. Usually our programs are pre-recorded, hint for those who did not know. But we are live here from the studio. So if you want to comment, if you want to get into the discussion, feel free to join by adding your comments in the comment section. We'll be more than gracious to read them. And as well, if you have points you want to, add in, you can do so as well. We will be able to read them for our viewing audience today. For those who are watching us on Channel 98, you can text us your comments, your feedback, and as well, again, we'll be able to read them. Our number here for our mobile phone is 613-9351. All right. Ms. Jemema, when we're here talking about self-care, but a few of our viewers might not know what in the world we're talking about. What is self-care?
Well, I'll start with what self-care is for me.
Okay.
And then I guess we can go in, because I think for everybody it's going to be different.
Sure.
Well, I am a mom. I am also a student. So for me, my days during the week are very crammed. But if I don't take time to mentally prepare for my day, it's not going to go good.
Okay.
So what I do now is, especially now that I'm feeling much better, I would wake up earlier than the time I need to get up. I would just pray, I would do exercise and do my devotion. And I would feel like I am ready to now face the day. I try to manage my time and make a schedule, a routine. I have a routine, a daily routine. And during that routine, you must take a time for yourself, whether it's making sure that you comb your hair really nice, putting on some makeup, lotion up your skin, not forget for the nothing. Not forget for the nothing. I would take one day out of the month to just like dedicate to me and my son. And that day would be, he's going to choose where he wants to go and eat, what he wants to eat, or what activities he wants to do. And that would make me feel much better, because I know that during the week, I have to attend to him and school, and then I have to deal with myself and school and work. So it's a lot, and if you don't take time, then eventually you will shut down. You will have to. Your body will force you to take time for yourself.
Well, for me, I've had several episodes of my body saying,
I've
had enough. Like, you need to stop. Like, I've had enough. You know, and it was not a nice feeling.
No.
It wasn't a nice feeling
Because
because I
abrupt.
felt like I was going into a stroke. I felt like I was, you know, my heart was going to stop. I felt like I was dying because I had overworked myself so much that my body was trying to catch up, you know? Wow. And I'm like, when I get to that point, then I realize I have done too much. But only because of the mercies of God, we learn from our mistakes and we try to do better. And by God's grace, I'm trying to do better between the 2 jobs and the kids and your husband and your life. You know, it's a lot, but it's key for us to balance, and of course to focus on taking care of ourselves. Now again, going back to that question, when you care for yourself, you are taking time to recharge your batteries. Your self-nurturing, taking care of your body and mind to be the best version of yourself. It's not selfish or a sign that you don't love others. It's simply about giving yourself what you need to do all the hard work in life. I love this definition because sometimes we feel so guilty when we can't answer all those questions that our children have. Or we feel guilty when we have to say no to an outreach, or no to a song service, or no to something from church, you know, or just say no in total. No, we're so used to saying yes to everything. It's important for us to say no at some point in time. You know, I like that the definition says that when you take care of yourself, it gives you an opportunity to recharge your batteries.
And that is a good feeling. It is an amazing feeling. And I think that praying for health and strength is very vital. And it's not something that we should just say. We need to mean it, because it feels so good to have strength. When you're down, that is not a good feeling at all, especially if you know that you are not that type of person. It says here, a lack of self-care comes from never feeling like we have enough time, enough money, or self-love to do the necessary things. And that, again, is a bad place to be.
Yeah. I like that they said money, because a lot of times we burn ourselves out trying to make money. And the same money you make, you have to spend to get your health back to where it was. You know, so rocks to throw some big boulders this morning, and the text so licks this morning, but it is the reality. It is the reality, and we need to stop. Yeah. We need to stop, because you'll deplete yourself, and like I said, the same money you are killing yourself to make is the same money you'll need to get your, and it's not all the time your health is restored.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're so far gone that your body is, you know, just, it takes a while to reboot. I've gotten to a point where I had to quit a job. Wow. Because I was so burned out. Quit a job and do something less taxing to give myself time to reboot, to catch up. You know, that's how serious it gets. And in this day and age that we're living in, where everything is going up, it's making it even harder for us. So we really have to put aside that time for ourselves as women.
It says that we don't prioritize ourselves because of our self-doubts and lack of self-worth.
Okay.
No, self-care has a lot to do with how much you value and worth yourself. Prioritize yourself over everything else. Sometimes, like Ms. Chantal mentioned, it is not being selfish. Sometimes you have to. You have to. Otherwise, it's going to show up for itself. And you will later realize that you need to take time for yourself. Make sure that you're okay so that everything else that follows can be okay as well.
Amen. And just to add there, it says how you see yourself, how you value yourself has a lot to do with how you care for yourself.
It is true.
Again, how you see yourself has a lot to do with how you care for yourself. All right, and when we talk about self-care, we're not just talking about putting on one lip gloss and you're good to go. You know, it's a holistic view. How are you mentally? How are you spiritually? How are you physically? You know, how are you emotionally? How are you financially? So the whole being we have to take care of. All right. Just to stick a pin, Ms. Jemema, I have 2 boys. You may know or not. But I notice that every time I sit, you know, with children, they come home and they want to tell you everything that happened throughout the day at school. And by the time I sit to eat is when they want to talk about everything. I'm like, I have to sometimes catch myself and say, you know what, just give me a minute. That's my line. When they hear me say, give me a minute, you already know, give me a break. And I don't think as a mom, you should feel bad in doing so, but because, you know, you do need a minute and sometimes more than a minute to just catch your breath, to sometimes sit down and eat. You know, and if I wouldn't say give me a minute, my food would be cold there. By the time I go back to eating it, I've lost my appetite because I'm there listening to everything that has happened throughout the day, from my husband, from my kids and everything. I mean, sometimes you need a minute to just eat. To just eat. All right, when I eat, I don't want to be talking. I don't want to be listening. Just give me a minute to eat. And that's as serious as it gets sometimes, right? All right, let's move on to the next question. And again, for those who are watching us, we are live here at the studio. Yes, Miss Sophia Tosta in the chat this morning. And would you like to read her comment? All right, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read her comment. We want to thank you so much, Miss Sophia, for commenting on our program this morning. And she says, we need to breathe and allow ourselves to recharge. And that is so true. Even breathing is a challenge sometimes because by the time you put down one thing, this one is wanting you to do something. This one is calling you to do the other thing. Wow, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And for you to be your best self, you need to be able to be taking care of yourself. You need to be able to say NO a lot more so that you have time to rest and recharge. You know, and we want to move on to the next question. Why self-care? Why self-care? It says, you may be wondering why self-care. There's no denying that self-care is a hot topic lately. And it can seem like every woman has their own definition of what is self-care. It says here, we believe taking care of yourself isn't an option anymore. In fact, in our opinion, self-care is more necessary than ever.
It is.
So it's not an option.
Shouldn't be.
It's not an option. Even if it's 1 hour per week or a couple minutes per day. You know, don't wait until you're completely burned out and then you need a holiday, a trip to America, a trip to Europe to try to bounce back. Daily.
Yeah.
Self-care is daily. A little bit out of the day. Take time for yourself. Don't wait until It's holiday. I know financially you might not be able to travel every holiday or take a time. Or, you know, wait until your birthday. Because some people judge up themselves one time for the year.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's your birthday to try to do everything. In time everything is out of whack. Eyebrow out of whack. You know, to try to reboot yourself or to take a vacation. Save up. Save up from the beginning of the year, you know, okay, every 3 months I'll be taking a little time to, you know, just refresh.
Yep.
Whatever it may be, whatever it may look like for you. It may be a manicure, pedicure for you. It might be an eat out for me. It might be a little overnight somewhere for you. Whatever it looks like,
a road trip,
that's your thing that brings you joy. Right. That's your thing that revives you. You do that. You know, set aside your finances so that finance is not an excuse.
When it comes to finance, I strongly believe that every individual should have a float of money in the event this happens. And whether it be emergencies or not, sometimes it is necessary to just take a break. You deserve it. In my budget, Miss Jemema, I have an envelope, because I do the envelope system, just for entertainment, you know, because you have to take a break. You must. There's no sense in working yourself away and you can't have fun. Yep. Right? So you put that in your budget so that you know this is for me to buy that sandals that I always wanted, or to buy that new shoe, or to buy whatever, or just sit down and eat one ice cream. You know, I mean, we have to stop being mean to ourselves, because a time will come, you will die, and whoever you left that money to will spend it and eat many ice creams off your money. Just some reality out there, right? So as we're moving along, I know we're coming up on our break shortly. We want to look at this question now, Ms. Jemema. Why does self-care matter? I think we touched on it a little bit. Right, and it is saying here that it should be an everyday practice. Like I did mention, I try to now include it in my everyday routine, and I am seeing how I am benefiting from it. I feel a whole lot better than just working and doing this and doing that and then wait for a special occasion to just relax and release your mind. For me, I would say, sometimes I would just go to Cayo just to do nothing. And that's fine. But I would just go to Cayo, and I would, after church here, I would rush so that I could just sit in the AY. And I would be satisfied with that, just to be around people and people of God, and I would just relax myself, enjoy the rest of the Sabbath, and be thankful for what has happened the past week and see how I can improve for another week and stuff like that. Simple things, and that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it is very peaceful for me. Yeah, and these are little things that we can find, little things that will not break your budget, that you can do to take care of yourself. And as we are coming up on this break, when we come back, we will share with you some tips or some points, some things that you can do physically to take care of yourself. And but before we go, I want to just read this portion here that says, self-care is an essential part of living a healthy life. If you're not taking care of yourself, you may be unable to take care of the people who matter most to you. I can't give nothing to my 2 boys and my husband when I don't have. If you're not okay. If I am depleted and I am out of energy, I will not be the best wife. I will not be the best mom. I will be terrible in the house. You know, I'll be so irritated because I'm so tired. To even depart love or to share or to make the home a peaceful place. And I feel like sometimes this is what is happening. Everybody's burned out at home. The wife is burned out. The husband is burned out. The children, they want her attention. So the house is a mess because everybody's tired. Yeah, it is. You know, so yes, women need to take time for themselves, but we also have to give the men an opportunity as well, and we'll talk about that next week, self-care for men. Because they too need some time. Of course. They too need some time.
Today we're focusing on our women. And so, as I said before, we have tips that we will share with you when we come back from this break. Do stay with us. We will be right back.
Really understand our youths and the challenges they face?
Are we truly listening to what they're saying or even care about how they feel?
Youth Come Alive is a new and innovative program where we discuss issues that matter, such as spirituality, sexuality, relationships, addictions, careers, and so much more.
Join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on all our streaming platforms.
Youth Come Alive, a program for youth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Elario Davis.
I'm Pastor Jemema Arnold.
We are the hosts of your Bible study series, Words of Wisdom. In 2 Timothy 3:16, God reminds us that all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof,
For correction and for instruction in righteousness.
Words of Wisdom is a specially designed program brought to you by ATN in an effort to share the Advent message to our friends and faithful viewers who are yearning to build a growing and saving relationship with Jesus Christ. If you want to learn more about our rich Adventist heritage, basic fundamental beliefs, counsel on courtship and marriage,
Or simply a deeper study of God's written word, then join us Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. on our Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as Channel 98 on Central TV. Join in and be a part of this special Bible studies effort by praying that God continues to lead and bless this ministry, by becoming a faithful viewer and inviting your friends and family to like and share our programs, by your kind donations and of course your generous financial contributions. Contact us at 416139351 or send us an email at atn@cbm.belizeunion.org. We are located at 10 3/4 miles Philip Golson Highway. Thank you for being a part of the ATN ministry. It is our prayer that you will keep the book of the law always on your lips.
meditate on it day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to that which is written therein. Then thou shalt make thy way prosperous and have good success.
And welcome back to our program for this morning. You are watching the Adventist Television Network, and this is our program, Defining Your Health. We've been having a wonderful discussion this morning on practical self-care tips for women, and so far we've unlocked, or we've explained what exactly is self-care. And now, as we move on in our discussion, we want to share with you a few tips for you all, for us, I should say,
Yes.
you know, to take better care of ourselves. When we look at this list, Miss Jemima, does any one of them speak to you?
All.
All of them, all right.
All of them.
Okay, so we're going to go through them, but we also want to remind you, our viewers, that we are live here from our studios. This is a live program, so you can engage. Yes, Miss Laverne Chacon, we see you in the chat. Good morning as well. You can engage with us via our comments. Feel free to add your points to be a part of this, the discussion this morning. And for those who are watching us on channel 98, you can text us at 613-9351 and be a part of the discussion. All right, let's look at number 1.
All right,
Tip number one.
Do something you enjoy, whether it be reading a book or painting. These are just examples, but something that you enjoy. What is something that you enjoy doing?
What do I enjoy? I like to eat. I like to eat. I always tell my husband when they're getting me gifts, I want something to eat. I don't want nothing to look fun. Eat or use.
Yeah.
So I would, you know, just go to a nice restaurant and just have a good meal.
I like that.
You know, because sometimes you get busy when you get home. It's just to quickly make something and you just put something together.
Sometimes it's not even something you want to eat or you enjoy, but you have to eat because you're tired.
Yeah, and it's the quickest thing to make, right? So do something you enjoy. What's something you enjoy
I like
doing?
to read in quietness. I like to read and be able to see the trees and like read in nature.
Okay.
And quietness.
Yes, and for you watching the program, what is something you
Put it
enjoy?
in the comments.
I see Mr. Jemema Arnold in the comment this morning.
Put it in the comments.
I feel good because you all are participating. He says, good morning. Teach us, Miss Jemema Arnold. All right, and she is teaching us today. Yes, we're talking about self-care tips for women, and the first one was do something you enjoy.
Something that you like.
Number 2, get a massage.
That is yet on
Get
my
a
list to do.
massage. When was the last time you got a massage?
I've never gotten a massage.
There's so much benefits of getting a
never gotten a
massage. You know, take some time, go to a massage studio and get a complete massage. Man, when you get up from that table, you're like a baby again. Everything made new, right? Get a massage. Tip number 3.
Take some time to meditate. That is my favorite.
Yes.
That is one of my favorite.
And that's something we should be practicing.
Yeah.
Meditating on God's word.
Yeah.
Taking time out to just, devotion time allow you to sit.
Yep.
You have to sit down. And sometimes I'm sitting and the phone is beeping, this is beeping, that is beeping, but devotion time with God is very therapeutic. You have to sit, you have to read, you're filing through your Bible, you're looking for scripture, and so that's a moment where you are spiritually refreshing yourself.
Yeah, I always like to reflect. I don't dwell on things that have happened, but I enjoy reflecting on where I have been to where I am now. And that allows me to spend time with God and thank Him for not giving up on me. I thank Him a whole lot for just remaking me every single time. So meditation helps a lot. It does.
And I think that's the first start. Because reading the Bible helps you to remember that you are special to God.
Yeah.
You are important to God. And sometimes everything gets crazy because we miss that one step. And we have to go back to just relaxing, opening up God's words for Him to remind us again, you are important to me. You are special to me. All right, point number 4. What's point number 4?
Try self-soothing techniques such as taking a warm bath and listening to relaxing music. I have one of my law lecturers, he would always say that he had stupid music early morning, right? And he would call police on his days off. He would call police if he hear loud music when it make no sense.
Okay.
The bother him, which I don't sir, you do have a point, you act too crazy about it, but he values his peace, and I don't give him any wrong. So listen to relaxing music.
Yeah, and then everybody has their playlist.
True.
Everybody have their playlist. So if you know everything is getting crazy, you pull out your playlist, and your playlist is a list of songs that you play that will be able to rein you in, and refresh you, remind you of God's love and goodness, right? This technique here says take a warm bath. Take a warm bath.
I always prefer
Sometimes you get home, you don't even have the time.
That's true.
By the time you just sit down, you're gone.
Your body shit
The
right
me
now.
right here, you're gone. You put on a lean movie, and the movie to watch you. But taking a warm bath does refreshes, your body. It refreshes your soul. It makes you feel, relaxed and everything. All right, our comments are getting there. Jemema Arnold again, he says he loves to read and play sports. And that's another good thing for men.
Take time for yourself.
That's another good for men. And like we're saying, us women, we need time, but our men as well need time.
We have to take time to recognize your husbands, just men on a whole. They do deserve good things too, and good treatment as well.
Yep. And so whenever it's a me time, I'm given that time to take a me time, and then Shane will take the kids. And of course, when it's the reverse, then I would take the kids. So this is how we have to do it.
Right.
This is how we have to do it to survive in this day and age. All right, we're moving on to the next point. Start an exercise program and make it fun.
Right. Some people see exercising as a burden. But for me, I have this scare of getting out of hands. So I will always make that a priority, and it is fun for me because I want to do it. So, and I try to eat healthy as well, try to change my diet a lot, because I just have a scare of my body doing what it wants to do.
Well, self-care, when it comes to self-care, like I said in the beginning, we have to think about our physical health.
Right.
And an exercise program is one way to get us on the path of physically being healthy and well. Exercise is not only for the physical though, it does help us mentally. We have a more positive outlook on life, the way we see ourselves. Remember, exercise is not to lose weight if you're fluffy. No. It's not to lose weight, it's just to keep you, keep your body, stable, and the result for some people is losing weight, but I mean it's a way for you to keep your body on the move.
In relation to exercise, it just brings back to me and how God made us, and he referred to our body as a temple. So sometimes we do things to our body that shouldn't be done to it, and there's always a reverse. We can always reverse these moves, and remember how God made us. The body was not made to put toxic stuff inside of, to be all worn out, worked up, and beaten up. Take care of your body. Your physical looks will make you feel better, and you'll start to do things better. So
yeah, you said a mouthful there. You said a mouthful there, because a lot of times we focus on the outside beauty, caring for, making sure our nails are done, making sure our brows are plucked, our hair is together, and then we leave the inside.
It starts from inside.
So, but like you said, everything starts from the inside, and the beauty is emulated on the outside.
Right.
All right, point number 6. Tip number 6.
Spend some time with your pet.
Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet?
I have a
pet.
The
list today says spend some time with your pet. If you don't have a pet, what can we spend some time, or who can we spend some time with?
I don't know. Something that I would
brings
say if I didn't have a pet, I would spend time planning on something that I want to happen. Make a hobby out of it and make sure that it's happening. I would strategize a plan, like how can I get there where I am now. That is something I would do.
And that would definitely bring you joy. So it'd be a good thing to spend time doing. Spend time doing things that bring you joy. Spend time with people that brings you joy, that make you feel good about yourself. Because now we want to plug in those friends that tear down. Those friends need to get cut for 2023, right?
Energy.
So self-care, you see yourself, you value yourself, and so you won't spend any time around people that are negative and will tear you down. And make you feel bad about yourself. Those people need to be cut for 2023. It's time to refresh and to get new friends. Be around people that will make you feel good about yourself.
Yes, there was a meme that I was looking at yesterday, and it says you are what you surround yourself with. And that is so true. That is absolutely true.
Definite. All right, moving along.
Number 7.
Let's go to number 7. I think we touched this a little bit. Listen to your favorite music that inspires you. If there's a song that makes you feel happy and energized, then play those. That's a playlist again. All right, moving on to number 8.
Turn off electronics.
Hardest. I got 3 phones to juggle.
It says the blue light from screens has been shown to interfere with our sleep patterns, and it leads us into a state of anxiety.
This is a hard one.
This is very hard. But for me, there is a time, as soon as I leave from school, my phone automatically goes on Do Not Disturb. And I noticed it helped a lot. I was able to get my assignments done like before they were due, because I'm not on the phone just scrolling on Facebook, doing nothing. Sometimes I would sit and I don't even know that an hour has passed and I'm just on the phone, just being idle.
Yeah.
So I set it now, Do Not Disturb, until I reach to work in the morning. And I believe it helps.
Of course. And then while you're on Facebook, you end up to say who house burned down, who killed who. It becomes so stressful. Being up there, seeing what's happening on the news, you become so overwhelmed. Last night, it was the UFOs. Everybody was seeing UFOs in the sky. I'm like, oh, here we go again. It turns out to just be satellites in the sky. But every single thing that drops, it's on Facebook, and you're able to catch it, and sometimes it's so overwhelming that you are just exhausted for the day. So the tip number 8 reminds us to turn off electronics. And Mr. Jemema says that she has a point in the evening or in the night when her phone just goes automatically on Do Not Disturb, right? And so you may have to do that.
It has to.
You may have to do that, because the phones, they keep beeping all through the night as somebody posts something, there's
Literally
a
through the night.
notification, and these things, it says here, lead us to a state of anxiety. So we gotta pay attention to these. All right, point number 9, as we are coming closer to the end of our program for today. Point number 9. You want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
All right, it says, make yourself a priority means saying no to your friends once in a while. We talked about this already. And that's some of the hardest words to say. And even if it's a good initiative, you don't have the time, you're exhausted, don't feel bad in saying no. Even if it's church work, because these are the things that put us on a guilt trip, right? If it's church work and they need you to be there to do the preaching or whatever, and you're exhausted, how can you go and share God's word if you're exhausted? You need to rest. It's contradictory, right? You need to be able to rest, to rejuvenate, to be able to share the gospel of Christ, in the right way. Don't feel bad to say, no, maybe I can do it another time.
And if they are your real friends, they are going to understand that we're just humans and we all get tired.
Of course.
So,
of course. And just to continue to read there, it says, we all need time for ourselves, and being available 24 hours is not sustainable or healthy. We can't be superwoman.
Not gonna happen.
Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most important ways to care for yourself. It's time to take off that cape, ladies. Take off that cape, because it's not working. It's not working. We're burning ourselves away. All right, and now we're at our final tip for this morning. Go ahead and read that one.
Tip number 10, remember that self-care is not selfish. It is your worth. Care for yourself without feeling guilty.
Yes. And that in itself is a mouthful. You know, it's not selfish to take some time to want to take care of yourself. You know, whatever it may be, like we said in the beginning, you have your own thing that you do to make you feel good, or for you to make you feel pretty or look pretty, even though you already know you're pretty. But, you know, you just want to just add a little extra. You know, because God done say we're fearfully, we're wonderfully made. So he done say we're pretty. You know, just to add a little extra to increase your, what's the word, your, it slipped me. All right, to increase your self-worth. You know, we can do extra things to increase our self-worth.
And it doesn't have to be a lot.
It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot, you know. Besides bathing. Bathing is just one part. But
that's the first part.
That's the first part. Bathing. Put on clean clothes. You know you have a shoes that is done. You can't go no more. You know, buy a new one. Stay on top of these things. You know, you don't have to have a million shoes. You don't have to have a million clothing. You know, just nice, clean clothing that when you put it on, it makes you feel good about yourself. Yes. And, you know, people will give you positive feedback when you wear whatever you're wearing. You know, if you know that you have on something nice, when you get positive feedback.
Compliment.
You know, so try not to wear anything where you get bad feedback, because you know, that will just tear you down.
It will.
That will just tear you down. But as we're wrapping up, Ms. Jemema, I want to ask one question here. When it comes to self-care, we already said that we need to, if it's a trip you need to take, budget it in, put it into your budget so that you can begin to save towards it. We also spoke about, you know, inside care, and the outside care is necessary. But what are your thoughts on, you know, putting aside a mini vacation for yourself? What are your thoughts on, you know, passing things in your life that you know it's not for this moment? I know you're studying, and to study you need to be in the right frame of mind.
Right.
It needs to be the right time. You know, sometimes we take on everything at the same season, and that might not be the right season for it. You know, so I want you to expand on that a little bit there.
Speaking of season, I am learning that there is a time for everything. So what I would say, the only thing that I put on complete pause would be dating, because I personally don't think that I have time for that.
Okay.
I've always been told that I don't have time, and I know this and I know that. So I would lose friends or potential, but it doesn't matter because I literally don't have time. So that doesn't make me feel guilty. I try to prioritize my future. So I prioritize my education for now. I don't spend money on things that I don't need to. I don't associate with friends that are not going to take me where I want to go. I no longer do that. There's a lot of things that I used to do and I don't do anymore, and I have seen how beneficial it has become. I've seen how it has changed me, because people look at you and people are going to tell you what they see. And you're going to be complimented. You're going to get constructive criticism as well. You just need to know how to take them. And a whole
lot of bad ones too, because they'll ask you where you to try play.
Yes.
Like, don't forget where you come from. People are so mean. People are so mean.
Yes.
And I'm just saying this because this is the reality.
It is.
You know, people see you taking care of yourself. You try to improve yourself. You're trying to increase get your education. You're trying to do something to improve yourself besides the beauty. You know, and jealousy comes in.
It is
Jealousy
sad,
comes in, but we just have to be reminded that what Christ says we are, you know.
Right.
You can go ahead.
Yes, so I no longer, like, there would be some weekends whereby, you know, you have this sort of friend, they want it every weekend, and I couldn't do that anymore because it wasn't beneficial to me. Weekends are the times that I get just for myself. I don't sacrifice it anymore for anybody or anything. I know I have to do my laundry, I know I have to deal with my son, I have to deal with myself. So we prioritize that now, and most of the time that's just me and him, along with a very few people were actually worth it, who would check on us, that would ask if we're okay and invite us to things that are, I would say, clean fun. There is no alcohol involved. It's kids friendly. Now these are the things that I now need to surround myself with, because if we're going out to somewhere I can't take my son, then I don't think I should be there in the first place. You know, so there's a lot of things that I've become very disciplined with because I have to, but it made me a better person.
Yep, and in the end, you're happy, your son is happy, your family is happy, and you know, that's all that matters. You don't want to be doing anything where you're guilty afterwards, and it's, you know, it will just be a mess. As we're closing off our program for this morning, we just want to, we just want to reflect. Take today to reflect on yourself. Take today to maybe jot down things that you've been doing that is depleting your self-worth. And also take today to jot down things that you can do or you're planning on doing to improve your self-worth. As we have gone through this program, we've talked a lot, we've touched a lot of points, and we pray that something we've said this morning has been a blessing to you. We want to thank those who were in the comment section today, and as well for those who are watching on our channel. We want to thank you so much for staying with us to the very end. I also want to thank my guest for today, Ms. Jemema Arnold, for being on set, and I want to ask if you have any final words you want to leave with our viewers today.
Well, I would just like to share that we are here for a reason and a purpose, and I don't think that we should be living an empty life. By an empty life, I just mean we want to do things that have purpose, that are purpose-driven, that are meaningful, and something that can impact somebody else. That's how I plan to live my life.
Definitely.
I sure believe that God has a plan for everybody, and I'm trying to notice mine and fulfill mine while I'm here. And we don't want to only talk about ourselves as women, but we want to take time out to notice the men that are doing their part, whether it be a husband, father, a good friend, anything. We need to recognize that men need to take care of themselves as well.
Of course, of course. One of the things we didn't touch this morning, Ms. Jemema, and I think it's very key in the few minutes that we have left, is that we are also responsible in building up other women.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Women are also responsible for building up other women. I think we spend a lot of time tearing down other women. And, you know, that is so sad because we, like you said, we have a purpose. And if you found something that works for you, why not share it?
Share it.
Why not share it?
Share it.
You know, instead of getting into cat fights and all of that, why not use that opportunity to build up another woman? You know, say, hey, you don't need to be doing that. You're belittling yourself. You know, remind other women of quotes from the Bible. God says you are this. God says you are worth more than this. You know, and that will help that person to feel good about themselves.
That is true. Before we go, I can attest that there is this young lady that she has known me for a long time, and we meet up back at school. But she notices something different, something has happened. And she would always come to me for advice and things like that. Like, she wants to know, so how are you doing now? How are you able to get, you know? And I would always talk to her, and she could call me at any time asking for stuff. And I do enjoy, because I am helping her to build herself.
She looks up to you as a mentor.
Yes, so I am grateful for that. Her name is Hasley. I am grateful for that I can be, well, I always want to be an example, but a good example. Sometimes I strip myself on Facebook, but I am very wise when I need to be.
And that's good to hear. That's good to hear. As a woman finds another woman, I mean, maybe older, because sometimes older women, you know, they need mentors too, or maybe younger, somebody to mentor, somebody to be an example to, somebody to pull along. Right. You know, it's not wrong for you to, you know, have somebody there to pull along and to bring up to the same level as you are. And remember, even doing so, try not to burn out yourself. You can't save the whole world, but at least one you can, you know, help along the way. And we have exhausted our time here on the program Defining Your Health. Again, we thank you so much for staying with us to the end. And we pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful morning. With that, we say goodbye and God bless.
Jesus said, "And this gospel shall be preached to all the world, and then the end shall come." Here at ATN, we consider it a wonderful privilege to provide you, our viewers, with wholesome programs to enrich and bless your souls. However, all of this is only possible because of your generous donations. We pause at this moment to ask you for your financial support to continue this great work entrusted to us by God. If you would like to become one of our monthly donors, please call us at 613-9351 or email us at atnfin@cbn.belizeunion.org. We sincerely thank you for your commitment, and may the Lord richly bless